To open the meeting, Councillor Potier, Councillor Laframboise.
Moved by Councillor Potier and seconded by Councillor Laframboise. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby opens the regular meeting of Council at 6 p.m. on June 17, 2026.
All those in favor? Carried. All of Council is present tonight. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Robinson Huron Treaty Territory, and the land on which we gather is the traditional territory of the Atikameksheng Anishinaabe. We also wish to recognize our neighboring community of Dokis First Nation. While we meet today, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous people and their culture. Can I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda? Councillor Loftus and Councillor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular meeting of Council held June 17, 2026 be adopted as presented.
All those in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest, Councillor Laframboise.
None, Your Worship.
Councillor Loftus.
None, Your Worship.
Councillor Potier.
None, Your Worship.
Councillor Lachance.
None, Your Worship.
And none for myself. Anybody have some announcements?
I would just like to thank the Connect 55 and the Lions Club collaborating today, making a lunch free for all the seniors of our community. The lunch was fantastic, and I got to see some people I hadn't seen in a long time. Second announcement, I would just like to say thank my beautification committee and my 2 volunteers for last Monday going around and planting all the flowers in our at our cenotaph, our cemetery. And this year we didn't go with just the red and white. We decided to put some color in our town. So I hope everybody enjoys that for the summer.
Looks good.
Yeah, thank you very much. Councillor Lachance?
I just wanted to go on record and say thanks to Paul Shopman for coming out and minuting our meeting yesterday.
Yeah, it was very helpful. Thank you. All right, moving on then. Item 311, report to council from SEBS transition. Andrea, it is yours.
Oh, thank you. It's already on, yes? Is it on with the blue light, I'm guessing? Okay. Thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. So this is an overall and fairly lengthy report, I will admit. But there has been a lot of change that we're going to have to be adjusting to for this year and going into 2027. So there really wasn't a way I felt that I could include less information. So I will stop at certain points in the report just to ask for questions and so that people don't get too lost in the information. Also be aware that we're recommending changes to the building bylaw, which have to be posted to the public for at least 21 days. So during that time, I'll be able to take questions from council as well. So anything that comes up tonight, obviously we'll discuss, but there will be some more time to answer questions so that you have some more time to digest the reporting. So to remind council, in November of 2024, all member municipalities of SEBS asked the province to grant each municipality the authority to issue permits for septic systems. And we have been granted that authority, and it will start November 1st of 2026. In order to make that change, there are some things that our department has to shift to be prepared. One of them is that we are asking to enter into an agreement with Public Health Sudbury Districts to outline the requirements and to enter into an agreement outlining requirements and responsibilities associated with the transfer of authority, and I'll speak to that first. So Public Health Sudbury Districts has been in charge of issuing septic permits, at least since I've been working in the building department and far beyond. So there is a lot of transitional work that needs to be done. Our department has to create applications, information for our websites. We're doing a lot of training, but there's the physical movement of files from Public Health Sudbury District, and also the sharing of their processes to help us try to transition from how they've done things to how we want to do things moving forward. As chief building official, I've met with their chief building official and staff to start this transition plan. They've put together a memorandum of understanding, which we're having reviewed by our legal counsel, mostly with the idea that I have no issue with our departments working together. They've been really helpful so far. More speaking to any liability that we would be taking on. So anything before November 1st, 2026, we want to make it clear that any decisions public health made are their responsibility. Any decisions made after November 1st, 2026 will be ours. So we are looking for council to direct staff to enter into this agreement, which will be reviewed and then brought to council for to be approved. Okay. Any questions on that portion of the? Okay. Perfect. So moving forward into this new role as for septic systems, we've received information from Public Health letting us know that on average for our entire area, which SEBS covers, we're looking at an average of 86 septic applications per year, which works out to be an approximately 35% increase in permit applications. And we always were anticipating this increase. So knowing that this increase was coming, we had worked within our department to start training our senior municipal bylaw officer to be able to be trained and to help support the building department if things just kept increasing over the next few years. And this ended up being a good decision within the department because our building inspector, who has been working part-time since 2019, decided not to return this year. So in order to transition smoothly into taking on this new role, but also to have a building inspector in place, we're happy to announce that our senior municipal law enforcement officer has already completed enough training to be appointed as a building inspector, at least through on-the-books training. So far has taken legal processes for chief building officials and designers, House Part 9, and has been participating in building inspections and plans reviews with the CBO since April of 2026. We think that there's a lot of benefits to this strategy of internal training. We're maintaining a continuity of service through this internal succession planning and staff development. We're retaining knowledge and operational experience within the department. We're allowing for a smooth transition, and the money that we've already invested in training this individual from bylaw will help to support their work in the building department as well. So this investment ends up staying within the organization. Also, the upside of including a full-time building inspector, not only to help with the additional 35% of building applications that we'll be taking in with septic approvals, but I see this full-time building inspector being able to review and address long-standing open building permit files, which is something we've been working as a department for the last few years to reduce. Assisting with unsafe building investigations and enforcement matters in a more proactive manner where required. Reviewing historical permit records to ensure that taxable assessment information has been properly reported to MPAC. So essentially looking for buildings that have not been assessed either because they've been built without permits or their permits were never closed. And then potentially acting proactively on failing septic system issues, which can contribute to poor water quality in some areas. And in some areas, I believe that St. Charles would be one of the areas most affected potentially by failing septic systems that might be contributing to blue-green algae. So that's something that we could be looking into as a department. Are there any questions about this particular part of the report as far as moving from our part-time inspector to full-time?
I'm just wondering.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You go first, yes.
I'm just wondering, like during the winter, our part-time building inspector requested a layoff because there wasn't enough work for that person to do. So I'm just saying, like in the winter, if we hire 2 building inspectors, is there going to be enough work to justify keeping them full-time?
Yes.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. The part-time building inspector was never because there wasn't enough work in the winter. The 4 things that I've listed, the open building permits, working on unsafe building investigations, historical permit record, and we don't have proactive septic systems, but that'll be coming. This was always work that would slow down during the winter because we didn't have the building inspector to support the work. This building inspector, when they were hired under the condition, thank you, of being able to be let off during the winter. And because at the time we were looking for an experienced building inspector to help support me in the role of CBO when I was newer in the role, this was an excellent decision for the overall department, and also saved money for the department. Because I believe you were here when we were putting together the shared service agreement.
Yes.
There was a lot of questioning of like, will this work? How will the numbers work out? We were looking for ways to make this move forward, and hiring a part-time inspector at that time seemed like a good way to move forward. Having worked the last 7 winters without a building inspector, I know that I will be able to keep that building inspector busy, working for the municipalities to be able to contribute to their overall assessment.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no, it was just about the water quality and septic. I think that's gonna be an asset, especially for around the lakes, and make sure that they have good systems. Yeah. I'm anxious. Proceed.
Thank you. Okay, so going forward with staffing levels for 2026. So we will be experiencing changes in 2026, but the timing of these changes are something that as a department, we're looking to keep things status quo, especially keeping in mind that this is a shared budget within 4 municipalities. So we as a department did not want to have to come to 4 municipalities to say, we're looking for more money midway through 2026 in order to hire our full staffing complement. We feel that because the septic approvals are not coming until November 1st, that as a department we'll be able to handle the amount of work coming in, as long as councils understand that this would just be for 2026. We are looking to internally restructure, cross-train, and prioritize mandatory services, and just temporarily redistribute duties. So 2026 is looking like staying within the approved budget for SEBS, with the appointment of the senior municipal law enforcement officer as building inspector, and using that building inspector in the building department, but also to support bylaw. This is unfortunately the busiest season for both departments, so we are looking to use him between departments, depending on where the work is most pressing. The junior municipal law enforcement officer will be moved into the senior municipal law enforcement role, and this would provide operational support to maintain enforcement service levels during the transition period. Our bylaw manager is taking on more time in the field, so he'll spend more time supporting enforcement officers in the field. We'll be recruiting and planning training for the new bylaw enforcement officer for early 2027, and is also going to be applying for the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation grant to provide assistance relating to supporting the new position. This is a grant we've applied for twice now. We've received it every time, and it will help to pay for at least most of the first year payment of adding the additional bylaw officer, or bringing us to our regular amount of bylaw officers. The chief building official will perform all plans examination and inspection duties, and provide direct mentorship and field training to the new building inspector. Is going to be coordinating all required building code training, and will investigate e-permitting software options for the building side, working within the municipality's existing mapping infrastructure and budget where possible. We do spend some money in CGIS on a building module that doesn't provide for a lot of interaction as far as inputting permits electronically. There are good cost-effective solutions that would work within a similar budget from what we're already paying, and that's what I'll be spending time looking for to help increase efficiencies. And our building and bylaw clerk will be assisting with the development of new septic permit applications to review the processes. We'll be improving permit-related information available through the SEBS website, and we'll be coordinating the transfer and organization of septic system records from public health Sudbury districts. So we do believe that by making these shifts in staffing, we'll be able to work within our 2026 budget and potentially have a savings involved. We're being, what's the word? Cautious. If we have to pay overtime in order to cover hours, then we want to be able to have some available to staff. But we do foresee there being some level of potential savings, which I'll speak to later in the report, because we do typically have some savings at the end of the year, the way we usually run our subs budgets. So we'll discuss how we're going to be recommending that be handled, but that won't really come until the end of this year after we see what the spending is going to look like. Staffing levels for 2027 are essentially going to be moving to a full amount of bylaw officers. So our 2 bylaw officers with our half-time bylaw manager, our full-time building inspector, which will move from half-time to full-time, our full-time chief building official and director, and our full-time administration permit services clerk. That's on table 2 of my report. I'm not sure what page it is on your agenda.
16.
Thank you, 16. But that's basically to show you where we are currently. At 5, that's including the half-time building inspector. We're going to be working for the rest of 2026 at 4.5, and then moving into our full staffing at 5.5. There is a bit of jumping around in this report, and I apologize. If I could review it one more time to reorganize it, I really do feel like I would like to point out that this increase in staffing for 2027, we believe as a department will be covered by the permit fees that we'll be seeing from the septic permits fees that we'll be collecting. So this will also come up later on in the report. Another step that we have to take as far as getting ready for the septic approvals is to improve and update the new building bylaw to be able to include permit fees for septic approvals. We have included a copy of the proposed building bylaw as part of this report. I also believe that council will need some time to review it and be able to ask any questions in it. But if I'm speaking directly to what we're adding new language to outline application requirements and administrative expectations for septic service permits. We're including language that refers to mandatory inspection programs in case environmental protections are required. And of course, we're adding the septic system application fees based on the fee structure that's currently being utilized by public health Sudbury districts. We're not looking to make changes to the septic permit fees at this time. They were set by public health Sudbury district, like any other building department, to try to become as revenue neutral as possible. So we would like to keep the fees the same for 2027 with a review at the end of 2027 to see if changes should be made. Since the building bylaw was opening up, there's other amendments that we've been looking to make to improve administrative clarity and reduce the number of long-term inactive permit files, and to clearly establish property owner responsibilities for obtaining required inspections and final permit closure. These proposed amendments include adding definitions for dormant permits. Dormant permits being permits that are still open but have been untouched for more than 15 years. Declaring them dormant means that they fall within the Liabilities Act ultimate liability period, where we can claim as a municipality that we're no longer going to be taking any further action on the permits. but also making changes to the way we issue permits now. Really educating residents on the fact that it is their responsibility ultimately to close building permits, but following up more closely after the 2 to 3 year period to make sure that inspections are happening in a timely manner and that permits are being closed, that we're not running into issues with many permits that are open for longer than 15 years. I can get into some more of the actual fees that we're looking to propose, but I would like to open it up to questions at this point since there's been a lot of information given to council so far.
Anybody have questions?
Just talking about staffing and stuff.
Mhm.
I would like to see more detailed, can you guys provide a complete financial analysis showing the expected annual costs and expected permit revenues, like all together, and the staffing for each municipalities for 2027, so we have a better idea of what we're looking at? Because I find we don't have, like, you have the 35% increase and stuff that might generate more money, but there's nothing that states
Sure.
like, for,
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Can we go to table 5 just quickly, which I think was probably going to be on page 19 of your report? And yes, I could provide some more detail, but I will point out that if we're looking at the overall breakdown of the municipal spending, St. Charles is looking to spend $117,000 on bylaw, building, and animal control, with a potential revenue of $76,000. I can offer more detail, but these numbers are based on excellent projections of how we've run this department for the last 10 years.
yeah.
Would you be looking for more information beyond that?
I just wanted more, like, please.
Can you
More
give me some more detail of what
Yeah,
you'd be
I can
looking
send it
for?
to you. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, you can send me that for sure.
Anybody else have questions?
Sorry, it's a whole different, it's a big thing to accept, right? So we have to make sure that
Okay.
we have all the
Council.
details.
Yeah. Councilor
Just-
Deschamps?
Oh, sure.
Just for the budget that was brought forward, that's including the full-time position instead of the part-time position?
Through you, Mr. Mayor.
$633,000.
$633,000 is this year's budget. And that included the halftime. That was where we were staffing wise when we decided on this budget at the end of 2025 going into 26.
So what's the difference?
Okay, yeah, I'll refer you back to that table 5. So we're looking at a total forecasted budget of 2027 of $723,254.
$90,000 more.
Oh, are you good with that answer?
Yeah, thank you.
All right,
Problem.
thank you. Anybody else? No?
No, not really. No,
Okay.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
changes across the whole report. So it's a lot to go over. It's just
Yeah.
It's true. And through you, Mr. Mayor, I do apologize. Had we had more time and not anticipating the fact that we are in an election year, this could have been brought forward in smaller pieces. This was all given to us. We were told of the resignation of our bylaw inspector in March. We were granted the septic approvals in April. I wrote the report in May. We are presenting in June. I understand this feels like a lot and it's being pushed, but we are working under some massive timelines, and this change allowing for septic approvals is coming November 1st, whether we're ready or not. So I do understand. I know that you guys have not seen typically 15, 20-page reports from me. It is a lot of information. But I will also remind council, we did ask for these approvals. You know, we do see a lot of advantages to having these approvals, efficiencies, control over our own approvals, potentially working with areas that have blue-green algae. Like, this has been something we've been talking about since I even worked in the building department. We just didn't anticipate it happening in 2026 and losing a half-time building inspector. I will also point out, I'm not sure how I would find another half-time building inspector. you know, we're increasing the work. We've lost a half time. This is the perfect time to transition into bringing a full-time building inspector into place. And with the work that we have done, which I will definitely provide to council, we see this as being revenue neutral or potentially a savings with the amount of money that we're looking to charge for septic system approvals. I really feel like this is an excellent step for the department and for the area. And I will provide answers to any question you need, understanding this is a lot of information to take in.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. So, and after that, it's the, we skipped some stuff, right?
I believe we did.
Okay.
One sip of water. So there are some additional changes that we're looking to make to building permit application fees. There are 5 fees that have often been charged at a fairly high rate. These are permits that we don't get a lot of over the years. And there are simple permits for our department to handle, but the way they've been charged, they can end up costing a lot of money to ratepayers. Pools, solar panels, weeping tiles with no additional work to foundations, siding, and wood stoves. These are typically a simple application, 1 or maybe 2 inspections, and the way we calculate them now is based on the cost of construction, which can be thousands of dollars and quite a bit of money to a resident to pay, whereas our time spent on it is fairly minimal. So there are 5 fees that I'm looking to reduce to a flat fee. I'm not changing anything when it comes to residential occupancies, except some wording to allow for a better description for unfinished cabins to sleep cabins and hunt cabins, and to finished cottages and cabins to seasonal dwellings, just to provide some consistency. There's better descriptions for the type of work and classifications that we issue permits for, and these are all based on the Ontario Building Code. Sewage system applications, like I said, we are mirroring the fees from Public Health, Sudbury, and districts. We are looking to decrease one of them. There was a $347 fee to get a letter from Public Health to let people know that they could have a septic system when a severance was being requested. We're reducing that fee down to $120 because it could involve going out to the site, taking measurements, doing some work that way. And then we're also adding another fee called a change of use permit with a minimum fee of $400 or the cost of construction. A change of use is when it comes down to an apartment changing into a business, or 2 businesses changing that have different ratings according to the Ontario Building Code. There's often review involved, but not necessarily construction. So we were looking to have a flat fee for review time if there's no construction involved. And finally, we are looking to just have a flat administration fee. Currently, we charge an $80 administration fee for projects under $50 or $5,000, and $120 for projects worth over $5,000. I am proposing we just keep that at a $120 fee. It is a bit of a raise on smaller projects, but many of the smaller projects that wouldn't be much affected by the additional $40, I feel like it better covers the administrative time of the department. Again, I apologize for the depth of information that I'm presenting. This will be posted on the municipal website, and you can ask me any questions you want. We can go through it more intensely. Any questions on those changes?
None for myself.
None for myself.
No. All right, proceed.
Perfect. So I will conclude with the financial implications overall, which I've touched on a bit in the report. In 2026, we're anticipating sticking within our approved budget with a potential approximate savings of $30,000, with the idea that we are including into our prediction the idea of any overtime that we might need. So we do see that there might be a $30,000 savings throughout the year this year. There is a section of the report that speaks to a reserve fund. We have had reserve left over or money left over in the SEBS budget in past years. And typically it's been used to either be placed in reserve to help pay for vehicles, or has been just rolled over into the next year to help cover the costs of the additional budget. We are looking to make a specific and official reserve fund just to cover, with a cap, to cover the idea of if we lose staff that need specific training. We have done calculations for what the cost for outfitting a new bylaw officer and a new building inspector, about $11,500 for a new bylaw officer, including all of the equipment and training they need. Unfortunately, their training is all out of town, so it ends up being a more expensive endeavor. A building inspector ends up being a little less expensive because all of our training can be done virtually, and we're in around the $5,000 to $6,000 range there. So we would be proposing at the end of this year, once we see where our numbers are, that a reserve be added that stays capped, just to allow for, if we lose staff that need to be specifically trained throughout the middle of the year, that we're not scrambling and again asking councils for money halfway through a budget year. So that's our plan. No decisions have to be made on that this evening, but that's something that we wanted to discuss to just let council know our thoughts as a department. And finally, coming down to the budget implications for 2027, you can take a look at page 19. Table 4 and Table 5 do give some detail on what we are expecting to pay and the total budget that we're estimating for 2027 that I just touched on earlier. And Table 5 shows the breakdown of what each municipality is paying for this shared service for bylaw, building, and animal control. And just reminding council that we base that on roll numbers that are provided by MPAC at the beginning of each year. I'll open up to questions at this time to see what else has come up in this part of the report.
All right.
No questions for me.
Any questions, Councillor Loftus?
No questions.
Okay, Councillor Potier?
No, I mean, I think we've gone through it pretty well. The one that was, back to page 6 and 7. There are some proposed changes to residential occupancies. So there was it hops around a little bit. There's solar panel installations and there's flat fee weeping tile installations. These are all, there's some that are in bold and they show a fee and then some don't show a fee. I don't know, it kind of hops around a little bit. I was just trying to understand that. I don't know if I'm missing something, but it's just an explanation of the next line. Is that what?
Yes.
Thank you, and yes, I can go through it. So I think we're looking at page 17 of your agenda?
Yeah.
Okay, so Group C, residential occupancies, yes, if you go down to the bottom of the page, the proposed changes are the ones I just spoke of, the pool, siding, weeping tile, and wood stoves. So the first one I mentioned is the swimming pools. Proposed change include swimming pools. Currently, the current fee for a swimming pool, we base it on the size of the pool. So $15 per times the area of the pool. So depending on how big your pool is, that can go from a $100 permit to a $400 permit. We are not going out any extra times for a bigger or smaller pool. So I just thought a flat fee for a pool would make that clearer.
Oh, okay.
So the way it's written, it basically is the point where it says introduction of a flat fee for swimming pools. The bolded portion is what how we're currently charging it, and the proposed fee is $120.
Okay.
The next point is a proposed flat fee for solar panel installation. The current way we charge it is the cost of construction of the installation divided by 100 times $10. So if it's a $20,000 installation, it's $200 plus our admin fee. It ends up being, but $20,000 could even be low for the installation cost. So it's extremely variable, and we find ourselves charging all types of different amounts where we're only going out once to make sure that it's there and we're checking the engineering.
Yeah.
So if that helps you to read my report a little more. the point is what I'm changing. The bold is how we're changing it,
Okay,
or what we charge, and then we're proposing a flat fee at the end.
sounds good.
I
thank you.
apologize if that wasn't clear.
Any other questions?
No, that was it.
Councillor Shaw?
The only, the only thing I'm not too sure of it, like, as far as doing the testing for the blue-green algae on our lake, like, we do have a lot of residences around the lakes and such. Are we gonna be requiring them to purchase watercraft and other expensive equipment to do these tests? Because I don't think that the equipment, like, are we still able to just scoop a water sample and send it to public health? Are we, what's the process there? What are we looking at? Because
Yeah.
I could think, I could just see dollar signs, I'm thinking of it, so I just don't know how far ahead or of a look these guys took into it so far.
Thank you. And that is a good point. This isn't something we'd be looking to take on right away. It's been in the back of my mind for years since speaking to people from the Muskoka area who went through a similar process when they received their septic permits. They took steps to clean up areas where, you know, we're not necessarily having to test the water to see if there is blue-green algae or not. If it's there, we could potentially investigate a particular area to see how old the septic systems are in that particular area. This is not something I'm looking to take on anytime soon. I don't see needing to purchase a boat for this, but we would be able to have a local potential solution to be able to investigate some of these problems, where when we've complained in the past, there hasn't been much of a response to looking into if this is contributing to the issue.
So does that fall under the responsibilities of the MNR then, if it's for the water, or would it have been public health that was responsible for that? Because if we're taking the septic application process from that, I'm assuming it's not going to be far that we take the rest of the responsibilities.
Oh, thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
We're not looking, we haven't asked to take on any additional responsibilities. And this particular work being done would be something that would be driven more by complaints and working within different areas. I know I've worked here for 12 years and there's been complaints every few years about issues with water. I don't see it being a fast change, but I see it as being a tool that the municipality could potentially use to help improve these issues. Not necessarily because we'd have to invest in a lot of extra equipment or time, but because now we have control over approvals for one part of the puzzle that could be contributing to the blue-green algae. It may come to the fact that that's not what the problem is, that that's not what's contributing. But now that we have the approvals to be able to issue orders on failing septic systems to try to clean up some of these areas, that could be a potential job for the municipality. And, you know, is this something that is a massive issue? This would probably be more direction from council to say, you know, can we start looking into some of the problems in these areas? But we do get complaints every couple of years, and they've always gone to public health without really much change. We may find that there's really not much change that we can make either, but we have approval processes in place.
Just because if we're the ones making decisions for changing the ecosystem of the lake by adding more septic tanks, then we would also be the ones liable for our portion, at least, of the clean outs if needed be, or changes to systems and so on and so forth, anything we approve for it. So just want to make sure we're kind of.
I hear you. This is a 5 to 10 year project, which, you know, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's dollar signs down the road.
And clean water.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Is that it for the report?
That is it for the report. So you'll be seeing information on the website about the changes to the bylaw.
Okay.
I will be open and available to any questions or comments, and I'll make sure that within the next 3 weeks I do reach out. Again, timing-wise, we do need to at least make the changes to the building bylaw to be ready for the November changeover.
All right. So if anybody on council has questions, they can email you directly. Is that the recommended procedure
Is
for
that
you?
okay with you, Denny? Yes? Yes, that would work perfectly. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you very much. Next item, 321, report to council, award of tender supply for granular A resurfacing. I would imagine that's yourself, Denis?
Yes, Your Worship, the Director of Operations sends her regrets. She was not able to be here tonight. I will present the report. So the tender for resurfacing was circulated. There were, I think it's 5 bidders that submitted. I went too fast. All right. So as you can see, there's a summary of the bid list, 4 bidders that submitted. The lowest tender was, I'll just go by the report so I'm not wrong, was McBain Construction, I think is the proper name of the company.
Bain Group.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just going to try. So unfortunately, we had budgeted $250,000 for this work. The tenders all came above that amount. Again, the McBain Group Inc. Came in at $261. So being $11,261 over the budget. Public Works is recommending that to council to accept this bid for tender, and in addition to this amount above the budgeted forecast, additional funding for it's dust suppression here. I just gotta find it. Sorry, I didn't write it. So right here, due to variance between the approved budget and the bid submission, staff are requesting an additional $25,000 in OCIF funding to be used. These funds will be allocated towards variance in gravel costs, contracting a water truck, and applying calcium chloride following the completion of the gravel and resurfacing work. I do believe the resolution will be at the next council meeting for that.
For the OSIF.
For the OSIF additional funds, but if council is in agreement, awarding tender to
McBain Group.
McBain Group is their standing recommendation.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions?
For myself, I'm in agreement.
Yeah, okay. Councillor Loftus?
No, I'm in agreement also.
Councillor Petit?
Also in agreement.
Councillor Lachance?
Only one question. All of the tenders are just for the resurfacing and supplied materials, none of them included the water truck or anything else, correct?
Correct. That condition was not included in the tender format.
Okay. And I've been in favor of the recommendation.
All right, thank you very much. So we have a resolution to select McBain. Do I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Loftus, Councillor Petit?
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Pelletier. Be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles awards tender 2026-06 for the supply and application of granular type A materials for the resurfacing of Turco, Monte Brazo North, Terrien, and Bedard Roads to McBain Group Inc. in the amount of $261,261 plus applicable HST.
All those in favor? Carried. All right, thank you. Next report, 322, report to council, canteen lease agreement. It's you again, Denis?
Yes, Your Worship. And again, this was part of the facilities. Following last year's discussion at council, the tender was, the lease was extended to minor hockey, and then at that time there was discussion of circulating a tender in advance of the upcoming season. It was circulated. One tender was received from Main Street Market, proposal $100 from October to March as a lease. Minor hockey was contacted but did not submit
An offer.
an offer or bid tender. That being said, the recommendation is that council enter into agreement with Main Street Market for the canteen lease for a 2-year term with a 2-year renewal option and shall include an annual increase by the consumer price index for the duration of the agreement.
All right, any questions?
Do we need to accept the proposal of the monthly lease, or can we, I'm thinking, last year, I wanna say it was 150 that we were charging monthly. It's just we're going backwards for myself anyways.
Okay.
I would like to see it sustain to the amount that we had, for last year's, minor hockey, I guess, that, yeah.
Minor hockey, the previous lease was 150?
150 or 175, I'm not sure, I tried to look.
I thought it was 800 for the season or something. I thought 800 came to mind.
I would have-
150 a month for 4 months.
I tried to look it
Yeah.
up and I couldn't find it.
Unfortunately, not having the treasurer, she looks it up quite quickly. I do not have the information. In all tenders that are circulated, we do have a clause that council can accept or reject any tender going forward. The issue becomes if, because this was an offer and acceptance, we have to, just to make sure that we follow protocol. So council can delay accepting this, and then we can come with a follow-up report of
Okay.
options available to council. That's probably the safest opportunity right now, is to
Okay.
delay the decision.
All
And
right.
then we can have what was paid last year, what are the options for council, because
Just to give us an
There's only
idea.
one that has spoken, so
Okay.
we'll see what happens. Councillor Loftus.
Yeah, I'd like to see what minor hockey was paying also, to kind of compare before I give my final decision.
All right. Councillor Batty?
Yeah, I'm also, I'm looking for it right now also, but, yeah, part of the proposal also includes that, where was it? So exclusive food service rights. So it states, while Main Street Market is operating the canteen, no other organization, group, vendor, or individual shall be permitted to sell, distribute, or provide food and beverage products within the arena facility without the prior written consent of the Main Street Market and the municipality. So I think, that needs to be worded differently, like in the agreement that is signed at the end, that, only, like, I don't know. Yeah, it needs to be not just broad, like beverage products, cause I mean, if there's an event or tournament. Yeah,
It's not just that, if you wanna, this is for the approval to lease, if they don't wanna open the canteen for a set weekend or a tournament or whatever,
yeah,
and they also don't wanna sign to give permission, it's not a very fair state to put the renter of the facility, not just the canteen, but the remainder of the facility in. So I think there needs to be a little bit of a clarification on that.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So other than that, okay.
Yeah, and
continue.
then, and then the price, I'm not too, so it was $100 a month for 6 months is what it was proposed, I
Yeah.
guess. I mean, I'm not too concerned about the price in the first year, maybe, like that's pretty, I think we should make sure it's close to what, at least closer on par with what minor hockey was, but the issue there is that they're operating it as a business. So they're gonna have an employee there, so it's not, it's a different business model, which obviously it's gonna be difficult, and then in the first year, do we take a chance in having, cause ideally, maybe this expands into more than just during the ice season, maybe it expands into during the off season, as well. So that's where if we say $200 a month, and then, they need to be able to offset that cost, right? So, having an hourly employee definitely, makes it a lot more difficult, yeah.
All
So,
right, that's very good
Yeah.
logic. Councillor Lachance, anything to add?
Going through it, I think it's a fair agreement, and I think it does create opportunities for servicing the residents at hopefully public skating and shinnies, and they would seize the opportunity to open the canteen for those activities as well. I really do like how they, in the lease term, they propose 10% of net profits to be donated to St. Charles Minor Hockey. That's over and above, in my opinion, and that's very generous. All these things considered, I'm okay with agreeing with the proposal as presented.
As is? Okay.
with the changes to,
Yeah, with the changes noted regarding just for rental. If they can't be available to service an event, then they're right to say that no one else can sell or provide food or beverages for an event or rental.
Okay.
It should be waived, right, if you can't participate.
All right, so maybe come back at the next meeting with that information, with a little modification on the, if they do not open, they lose the right to prevent sales.
And there should be a timeline for this. They cannot be last minute. I
No,
lived,
no.
I lived through this experience in another municipality, and you need notice,
Yeah.
because then it really puts a,
All right, and in my mind also, I'm thinking if, even an event, if the event is counting on funds from a sale, I'm not even sure about that portion though. But come back with, at least the information for the last year's rental fees and a modification as has been discussed. Okay? Okay, we're good? Thank you very much. Next, Treasurer Director of Finance Report, Tax Adjustment, prepared by Pamela, presented by you again, Denny?
yes, your worship. Section 357 and 358. Whenever there's a change in an assessment of property during the year, forms are filled out, and they fill out by the residents, submitted to the treasurer, validated, and then council gets the opportunity to review them. Normally, I did have a discussion with the treasurer on this. Normally, and I think she might have added, which she didn't, is if there's any significant financial impact to a municipality, this would be the opportunity of council to say, this is going to significantly impact the municipality. You have the right to say, no, we don't agree with it. But in this case, in discussion with the treasurer, the amounts of the properties are like fairly low. There's only one somewhat significant amount, but they did remove a mobile home from a property, so as indicated. So it's only fair that during the year, if you have a change, just like if you have a building, you build a building, your taxes, we go back and tax you from the date you build. And this is the opposite, is when something happens, is it impacts the taxes and we remove it. And again, the only condition is if it causes significant harm to the municipal financial position, then there can be some further decisions of the council that may affect this. But seeing this, the properties are listed here, and I think the total impact is 3,217. And again, there was an omission, so in addition, so the, sorry, there was omissions that were added, supplemental invoices, construction, and TIA. It's an acronym, and I can't remember the acronym, but the impact of TIA's tax in, I'm drawing a blank here, and it's not detailed in the report, so unfortunately, I will just have to say to council, it is a properties that are reduction in value. So the total impact of the of this amount is 46,418, so it's in the positive. So the recommendation from the treasurer was to receive and accept the report. If I'm that the tax reduction refund on 357, 358 of the municipal act in the amount of 3,217 be approved.
All right. Any questions?
None for myself.
Anybody have?
No questions.
No?
Just two quick ones. First, this amount that's being reimbursed, how is it specific to the date? It specifies to the date that the mobile unit was removed?
Yes,
So we have proof of what date it was removed?
yes, and then if you want to, the building inspector does work with us also for the dates.
Mr. Mayor, it's typically our department that offers these 357, 358 forms. So if there's a demolition permit that needs to be issued, we will also make sure that they fill out the 357 form. If the building is no longer there, they shouldn't be taxed anymore. It just cleans up their assessment. If a fire, if a building is so damaged or fire issued, that we will give them a 357 to apply to MPAC to have these reductions. Typically, that all goes with demolition permits.
Okay,
So that might fall into the second part of the question is there a site visit that's performed after these buildings are demolished or removed?
Yes, we will close the building permit before the treasurer will usually check in with us to make sure the building permit has been closed. And then MPAC will also do their own inspections as well to make sure the building's no longer there.
Perfect. And we have a policy drafted for how we handle this, or is it just practice? Because I've never seen a policy.
that is a good question.
Is there
Do we have a policy, or is it just past practice?
practice.
And that's the way,
best practice?
For the building department or for how they're handled at council?
For how the municipality handles this, like if, when someone asks for a reduction, demolition or removal, through permit, we accept it, and site visit to confirm after the fact, because that just, again, it might be something that if we don't have a policy for it, I understand this time of being to us, but I haven't seen one like this since I've been in council, this is my 4th year, so I'm just, it's new to me. I want to make sure that we were following something for everything we do it.
any addition?
So this is municipal, provincial legislation. It would be, if you take the municipal act, go to section 357 and 358. It is listed in provincial. That is what council follows, the act. So as per se of how it's handled at council, we're just following how it's established on the municipal act. There is no municipal standalone policy. Past practice has been to bring it to council, explaining with the detailed list of why, what is the substance of the 3,217, and to mind all the others, we cannot affect. That's the Assessment Act. So you can't say no to or yes to the other ones. That's the Assessment Act. The first one is the one that has to go to council for approval.
First and third.
No, minor.
Removal.
Oh, I mean, no, the first column, sorry, 357, 358.
Okay.
Yeah, the other column, like the omissions, the supplement, the TIAs and MOS, which unfortunately, and again, those.
And those are provincial forms that are in code.
It's through the Assessment Act, you build, a permit is issued, Assessment Act says MPAC goes out. You built on July 1st, you were given occupancy, we're charging you from that date. It would be a supplemental. You built a garage, it shows up on whatever specific date. Where the 357, 358 is they were previously assessed at the beginning of the year, and sometime during the year, there was a fire. We decided we did demolish the home. And it changes mid-year, and the section 357, specifically that one, 358 is a different condition. It says, well, the person may apply to the municipality for reduction. I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, but I can pull it up. And it's the application to the municipality for reduction. And normally they've always been approved. Again, I did ask the treasurer that in the future reports that she puts a clause, does it impact municipal finances? And I asked her verbally before
The meeting, yeah.
before the meeting, and she said, no, looking at this, it doesn't impact the municipal position, especially if you look at the supplementals and the omissions. They are fairly significant amounts, so the impact is not noticeable because the supplementals and the omissions are a fair bit more revenue.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your clarification. Like I said, just don't know much about it. I want to be informed about what our policies are and what we're following, so.
All right.
Through
You have
your
anything to
worship.
add?
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify that we didn't actually do any 357, 358s in 2025, but we did do them in 2024. Yeah, so
But there
they
wasn't-
have been
there were
before
fewer,
council. Yeah, I think there probably were fewer, but
Yeah,
they have been council before, so,
okay.
yeah.
All right, so is that it for your questions, Councillor
Yeah,
Lachance?
that's it. Thanks for the clarification. On
All right.
All participating parts.
So
Perfect.
we resolution one at a time?
Yeah.
Okay. The first for the resolution, do I have to? first resolution. And the clerk was gonna read the details. Mover and a seconder. Councilor Laframboise, Councilor Pottier.
Moved by Councillor Laframboise, seconded by Councillor Pottier, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the following application for reduction, cancellation, or refund of taxes in accordance with sections 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Roll number 5204-000-001-26900-0000 for the reason of a mobile unit was removed as per application.
Is there a roll number in this? That one. Thank you very much. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, next, mover and a seconder. Councilor Loftus, Councilor Deschamps.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance, be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the following application for reduction, cancellation, or refund of taxes in accordance with sections 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Roll number 5204-000-002-047-03-0000 for the reason of raised by fire, demolition, or otherwise as per application.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, mover and the seconder. Councilor Laframboise, Councilor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Lachance, be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the following application for reduction, cancellation, or refund of taxes in accordance with section 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Roll number 5204-000-001-05602-0000 for the reason of a mobile unit was removed as per application.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, mover and the seconder. Councilor Loftus, Councilor Pottier.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Pottier, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the following application for reduction, cancellation, or refund of taxes in accordance with sections 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Roll number 5204-000-003-14400-0000 for the reason of raised by fire, demolition, or otherwise as per application.
All right. Next one, mover and.
All those in favor.
All those in favor, carried. Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilor Pottier. Next, mover and the seconder. Councilor Lachance, Councilor Loftus.
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Loftus, be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the following application for reduction, cancellation, or refund of taxes in accordance with sections 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Roll number 5204-000-002-12304-0000 for the reason of raised by fire, demolition, or otherwise as per application.
All those in favor? Carried. Mover and the seconder for the following one. Councilor Pottier, Councilor Laframboise.
Moved by Councillor Pottier and seconded by Councillor Laframboise, be it resolved the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the following application for reduction, cancellation, or refund of taxes in accordance with sections 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended. Roll number 5204-000-004-21500-0000 for the reason of raised by fire, demolition, or otherwise as per application.
All those in favor? Carried. Mover and the seconder for the last one. Councilor Loftus, Councilor Lachance.
Moved Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the following application for reduction, cancellation, or refund of taxes in accordance with sections 357, 358, 359 of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, roll number 5204000003 207000000 for the reason of ceases to be liable for tax at rate it was taxed as per application.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you. Next, item 332, report to council resolution for debenture. Is there a report for this one? Oh, no, it's just the resolution right away?
No,
Sorry.
there's a report, but
You're asking for mover and second, you're almost at
Minute là. Quoi?
Well, you asked for a resolution, so you need mover and second.
Did I not ask for that?
Yeah, it's okay.
All those in favor? Carried? Is that what you
No,
want?
need to move for a second.
No, there's a report.
Yeah, but you said a resolution for, you didn't say a report for, it said a resolution for, that's why you had to ask one.
Okay. There's a report, sorry, the council for debenture.
Yes, your worship, I'll keep it short and sweet. And again, I forgot to mention the director of finance had an appointment and could not be here tonight, so she sends her regrets. So not mentioned that previously. Again, it's short and sweet. We've did purchase a tandem truck and a pumper truck, the fire department pumper truck, a gravel truck, and this the road project that's going on King Street and upcoming on Saint Joseph. The intent of council was to go for a debenture for these projects. And as the Director of Finance explains, this is the first step in the process. We need to officially have a resolution. As you can see, it's in front of council to request for debentures.
Okay. And anybody have a question? No? Thank you very much. Next, mover and seconder for the resolution, Councillor Lachance, Councillor Potier.
Moved by Councillor Lachance and seconded by Councillor Patig. Whereas pursuant to resolution number 2025-058, Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles authorized the acquisition of a new tandem plow truck for municipal operations. And whereas council has received and reviewed the quotation submitted by Gincor Industries for the supply of one 2025 Freightliner chassis equipped with a Viking dump body, spreader, and complete plow setup. Be it therefore resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby confirms the purchase from Gincor Industries of one 2025 Freightliner chassis with a Viking dump body, spreader, and complete plow setup in the amount of $381,690 plus applicable taxes. Be it further resolved that the purchase be funded by way of a debenture in the amount of $388,407.74.
All those in favor? Carried. The next one, it's for a vehicle. Mover and seconder, Councillor Loftus, Councillor Laframboise.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Laframboise, whereas pursuant to resolution number 2024-348, Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles authorized the purchase of one 2024 Freightliner M2 106 pumper truck for the municipality's fire department operations. Be it therefore resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby agrees to enter into a debenture in the amount of $557,975.17.
All those in favor? Carried. Now I need a mover and a seconder for the debenture regarding road construction. Councillor Loftus and Councillor Lachance.
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Whereas pursuant to Resolution 2025-199, Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles awarded the contract for the rehabilitation of Casimir Road, King Street East, and St. Joseph Street. And whereas council deems it necessary and expedient to finance the said capital works project through interim and long-term borrowing, be it therefore resolved that council for the corporation of the municipality of St. Charles hereby agrees to enter into a construction loan to be converted into a long-term debenture upon completion of the project in the amount of $4,732,147.99 for the rehabilitation of Casimir Road, King Street East and St. Joseph Street.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, report 341, video monitoring policy, prepared by Denny.
Yes, Your Worship. And again, apologies for the delay for returning to council for this policy. This was brought in to council early last year and was sent back to staff for redrafting the policy to have an employee sign off to access, limit access to the video to the Director of Operations. More stringent wording and the fitness center video. And with that, this policy, I've been working on this policy for a fair bit of time, and it was just, it did address the concern of council, so I don't know if the council had a time to view it, if they have any comments for it. So the language has been, it's a fairly extensive one, and the caution with this to council is as an employer of less than 25 employees, we are regulated by all the legislation that exists. So having a local policy is not required, but is best practice. So that being said, if council wishes to adopt a policy, we can definitely adopt a policy. The one thing is if we adopt a policy, if it's more stringent in what's required by law, this now becomes our benchmark. So if the law said you should keep a log, and now if this says you must keep a log, now we're held to the standard of must keep a log. So that being said, this policy did state it goes to camera locations and logging them. There is a specific clause for the fitness center video to protect the patrons of the videos of the fitness center. And I'd like to tell everyone that all of this, like staff, as best as they can, try to respect the video. But this will enshrine some rules that must be followed. There is language to notice and signage. Access to the video system, section 10, is where the Director of Operations shall be the primary authorized administrator of the municipal facility video monitoring system. Additional access may only be granted in writing by the CAO where operation will be necessary, meaning if the Director of Operations is on vacation, there's an incident, I can appoint somebody else to monitor the video. And the clerk has legislative duties under the Freedom of Information, whether it's for or legal purposes, insurance purposes, records management, have access. So there's regulatory duties as legislation for the clerk. So those would be the two primary staff responsible. There's a section 11, employee acknowledgement and use of recording, which before we would just follow basically, something happened, we go see. Now there's a clear understanding of what we can access the recordings for. And again, the access recording, the way I am preparing this is it's only the Director of Operation and only in these cases. So so it really limits the person that can access it and for what reason. So it can access to see if it was sunny that day. It's not an allowed purpose. So if you want to see if it was sunny, because I was away and want to find out, it's not an allowed. I know it's a redundant issue there, but and again, the disclosure, now there's, prior to this, I have disclosed at the request OPP, I think twice, since the systems were installed, with no formal process. They show up, I take the badge number, take a note, and that was it. Now there's a process and there's an actual, proposed form for that. And it'll, I hopefully will, eventually digitize, these records, somehow. And again, there's again, disclosure of recordings, it's very specific, law enforcement, court order, MFIPA, legal proceedings, insurers, or legal counsel where necessary or otherwise permitted by law. So we would have to access the audit and access logs. Again, this is under the IPC, the Privacy Commissioner of Ontario. They have a ruling where it says it's not required, but it's good practice. And now it would become, whenever we add it, it's now mandatory for us to access it. Where previous to this, it was a good practice. Now it is part of the policy. That's where we go above the requirements, but we are following recommendations. Retention of recording, right now, it says generally between 30 and 90 days. I can tell you right now, I don't think we have a hard drive that can go more than 30 days. But this would be the maximum. You can get a terabyte hard drive now with a 2-camera system that could probably hold it for a year. Unfortunately, our systems are limited, but in the event we get a better system, the proposal was 30 to 90 days for retention capacity, or as much as the hard drive can hold to the maximum of 90 days. Again, so the recordings required for investigation will be the only ones that will be able to save it to keep, and I think it's all written there. Breaches of policy, unauthorized access viewing, this misuse video monitoring recording is now detailed on what must happen or what may result in, depending on the severity. If somebody is looking, if it was sunny on the Sunday, it may just be a don't do that. If you're looking for other purposes, then it goes up in the terms of severity. So there's a process there. Again, there's a list of responsibility, and I have a 5-year review. And I just want to check if I know I went first for the preamble, purpose, legislative authority, scope, definition, principles. No, I think I have touched everything. And in addition to that, there is a forms that will go with this policy. Video monitoring access and audit log. So every time you, in discussion with the Director of Operations, live video monitoring is part of the process. It's part of operating. If you're in the arena, the facility is so big that you may need to watch live video to make sure that the hockey game's over, because you have to be monitoring. The Public Works garage be used to monitor the trucks in the yard coming in, coming out, the traffic. So the live monitoring is, the request was to keep the capacity to view live monitoring for operational purposes, but clamp down on recording. So the recorded events would not be able to be viewed. And again, there's forms about you can't record, you can't film it. But the argument was that live video remain accessible to staff for operational purposes, but any and all recording be restricted to the clerk in their statutory duties and the Director of Operations with the conditions here.
Okay.
I'll just go through the forms. They shouldn't take that long. So video monitoring access. H2 video recording disclosure log. So anytime that it is disclosed, it is a record. Because unfortunately, like I mentioned to council, I have given video copies to the provincial police under an investigation. it was just recorded in the complaint book. And nowhere else. This now is very specific. It's a separate log. And hopefully, again, we'll have a better recording than paper format, but this is what we propose in terms of disclosure. This was the acknowledgement form that council had required that every staff, once this gets approved, that we will go through this policy, and every staff will be required to sign an acknowledgement form that they have read and understood the policy. Camera inventory register, again, if everyone, I've seen every camera, I probably don't even remember where they all are. This would be done once, and every time camera is added or subtracted, would keep this list current. It may be a bit of work to get it complete. We do have most of our facilities, other than the fire department, under video surveillance. So it's still probably a lengthy list, but it shouldn't be overwhelming. Annual camera location review form. Again, this is, if you're familiar with the department, it may say, look at the camera systems. Yeah, we're happy with it. We continue. New camera installation, authorized privacy impact statement. This one is a good one because until recently, after an investigation, it was determined that we do have some cameras that needs to be addressed. You put a camera up, filming a property, you don't know what you catch until you look at the video. So this would be a good practice if we are looking in somebody's backyard, because we have no business in looking in somebody's backyard, and we're protecting our buildings, and that should be the intent of the cameras. So public safety, enjoyment of employee safety, asset protection, theft protection, vandalism, risk management. So again, this is, as I was doing this policy and as I unfortunately found out that we need to go through this. This specific form is a good tool to remind us that we have to be careful.
Okay.
And I think I'm getting close here. Privacy breach reporting form. Again, this formalizes the once a breach is discovered, it's logged. This is no different than what the privacy laws require. Both the IPC, Privacy Commissioner of Ontario, and the Federal Privacy Commissioner. This is no different. We have to log. We have to, anytime that privacy, and as a public entity, we are responsible to follow the. Well, everyone is responsible to follow the privacy laws. This is a form for MFIPA request. I don't know if the clerk has a different form. This is just a logging form of somebody requested. I know there is a specific MFIPA form that I probably would recommend that be substituted for this. It is a form that is adopted by all municipalities as a standard form. So again, you see it here. I will suggest that for this particular one, we use the recognized form
Okay.
for the form. It may be in addition to, because the standard form is very generic. This one is specific to cameras, but I don't think we need to duplication in paperwork. So I would recommend that this one, even though it is specific for cameras, that we stick to the provincial recognized one. And then this one specific for the police now would be a law enforcement footage request form. Again, I've seen municipalities use the standard MFIPA form and add a clause in the back where you check off requested by the police, no question asked. You take their name, their badge number, and because they're an officer, they're responsible for what they ask for and if they are legally entitled to. That's their request. And again, that would be more of law enforcement would be released by the clerk. and not necessarily by the
Director of
their
Operations.
operation. Video evidence retention old form, and again, if for whatever reason an event is captured and we're holding the video, I don't know, damage to property. We know we're gonna have an insurance claim, so it may be something we owe the clip, but then we're holding, so there's a specific form saying we're holding this information for what reason we're holding it. Because our retention policy says at 90 days everything is deleted. So this would be a specific form for that. And sorry, there's a lot of forms. Video monitoring signage template. So we are, this one in particular, we are following what is recommended by the province. We're gonna have little disclosure signs installed everywhere. Whether this meets the final wording, I know we're going to use the standard forms, and the written format was here. It's in use. So yeah, so this is basically every building will have this posted at their entrance, and then everyone having an issue or concern may, well, obviously we'll put the contact information
Okay.
for the clerk. And again, annual video monitoring compliance report. It's just this is a summary of all the forms that we just discussed. So, and then there's a retention log. I did not go through with the clerk on this one. This one, the clerk, once it comes back to council, will have verified it. And because it says 7 years for access logs, disclosure logs, I will let the clerk review this one. Unfortunately, again, this policy was being worked on, but then after a request, I decided just to bring it forward, just to put it on the table because it's long delayed. And unfortunately, that's the last of the forms that I have to discuss.
Okay. So now that we'll have to pass a resolution to accept this at one point, but is it later on, or is it just the direction of council?
Right now, it's just for discussion right now.
Just for discussion, okay, that's what I was hoping, because if somebody has a suggestion or, okay. Any quick comments on this?
So section 10, when you say, I know you did talk about this, the additional access may only be granted in writing by the CEO where operationally necessary. I honestly think, I would like to take that away, because I think just having the director of operation and the clerk.
Oh,
And
I'm okay with that.
Especially if you can access it for 30 to 90 days, if they're absent, they can access it when they come back. If we start adding other staff members, I think it just adds more problems to it.
Do you want to put the clerk in the absence of the director of
That would be
operation?
fine, yes. Yeah, just those two.
Okay,
Like,
no,
I know the
that would,
clerk has her own
Reasons?
reasons, but yes, I'd rather have just the two of them.
I'm just thinking in an urgent matter, like if it's a crime and that we
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
So, okay, I will modify that to, in the absence of the director of operation, the clerk shall.
And then, form. So the audit form, you have.
Which is Form what?
The first one. So page 73.
Okay.
So at the end, you have employee signature, which that should be director of operation, right?
Okay,
Because it should only be
Form 1, Form,
external, internal. Sorry, it would be page 74 at the bottom of the.
okay, so- Yes, this one, my understanding, video monitor access audit law, there's only, if we do the change, there
Two.
would only 2 people allowed to do this, so
Exactly.
it would be clerk or director of operation.
Okay, yeah.
And they would have to,
Yeah, they'd sign
Alternate
their
or-
names.
Yeah, okay. Form 7. So we have for nature breach, can we have, I'm not sure if it would be there or sections, or Form 16 or Section 16. I would like to see, like, for it, if it has been reported to the privacy commissioner, or even at what point should council be notified of a significant breach? Like, I'm not sure if it would go into this form or it would go into Section 16.
Yeah, I think it would go above.
16.
Okay. So just a clarification, are you looking for language to compel an employee to disclose to council if the nature of the breach is a severe in nature?
Significant, yes, yeah.
Okay, so that could be an additional clause when it comes back to council for,
Okay.
and it could be incorporated in the form of the reporting. It could be an additional met condition of exceeding.
And then last one is, I know we have like how do you say that? Those cameras at the landfill, like
Oh, the one of the,
They are video.
like, so is this being viewed on personal phones, or I think it needs to be viewed on municipal phones?
Yes, and again, once we start clamping down, only 2 people will have access, and they will have to be municipal equipment.
Okay.
And then unfortunately, it may mean that we may have to
Or computer or
figure out a
whatever.
portable unit for the staff to access it. I know the director of operation has a mobile phone, so that's easy enough with, and that would be operationally probably the best one to monitor.
it's the operational portion where it's on it. They need it for for verifying that something is being done or something that,
So
if there's trucks in the yard like you were explaining.
So the cameras at the landfill specifically, there's a motion sensor on it, so if something moves on the off hours, they are notified. And often, we find unfortunately that there's intrusions, but sometimes it's just a black bag.
Yeah.
And it's, but it's for safety and security of sites.
I just wanna make sure for privacy, right? So
Okay,
we-
yeah, so we can look at a clause that can only be accessed through municipally owned equipment, because then they could keep a copy of the video in the cache available.
Okay,
That's it for myself.
all right, thank you. Councilor Loftus, you're good? Councilor Pottier?
Yeah, my only really was the, I guess, access to video monitoring systems. So access to live video may be authorized, so there's section 10, page 68, if staff duties require monitoring. So that's the one that I think Councillor Lieutenant Boyd spoke to. So live video, yeah, so it speaks to live video. So it's access to live video may be authorized by due. So is there, like, how are we documenting that access was granted, or like, is that, was that one of the forms for live video, or is it? I'm just thinking, cause like
Yeah,
the
there's no-
video monitoring access and edit log, is that for?
I don't think there's a specific form for live video, because the component of, and everything is critical, is recorded. The live video is, you're not supposed to be recording.
Yeah.
But where is it recorded that you can watch these 5 cameras as part of your jobs? I don't think there's. a
Maybe that's
specific-
where,
there's
cause,
no- we can figure out something to insert in one of those forms, a little component where,
operationally
Operational,
required.
live view was granted to, public works staff, for the cameras 127.
Yeah.
Only live viewing, and then not, like, state the staff that work there. And they could also read that and say they have a right to watch live and not record.
Yeah, I think that,
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
I
that
think
would
that's,
make
yeah,
sense.
makes a little more sense, and it gives a little bit of allowance for not having to request access or have documented access every time for the landfill, because I think that's the one, right? It's mostly operationally for viewing when they go in and out. And then so what controls do we have in place with our IT for, say, when they're accessing our systems, either via, when they're taking over laptops to do either any work or something, right? Or do they have access into our systems through their own, like, are they able to access our hard drives, essentially is what I'm getting at?
So.
And if so, have they signed some kind of confidentiality agreement, or what do we have in place for controls on that?
So I'll talk specifically for video and then I'll address afterwards or not.
Okay.
So video systems, part of this, we will, they are all the video PVRs are all password protected. We will make them unique and only known to the director of operation and the clerk. And nobody else will be able to access the hard drive without punching in the password. I don't know if somebody can steal the PVR and plug it into a computer. I have no knowledge of that. I'm hoping there's encryption. But the passwords will be, as we implement this, the passwords will only be known to 2 people. So all video recordings will require a 1, 2, 3, 4, for example. Hopefully it's not 1, 2, 3, 4. But
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if it was on like some shared drive, like if the files were just stored on a shared drive and that it was just.
no.
It's a PVR is what you're saying.
So,
Yeah, okay.
as part of doing all this, there's potential for a centralized unit in the vault to do all cameras and to simplify the system. I don't think we're there, but as we are replacing aging out cameras, the recommendation was to centralize everything in one PVR in the vault,
Makes sense.
where somebody can go and break into a facility and steal the PVR. They are in secure locations, don't want to say where, but eventually you still do the PVR, the proof goes with the person. But we have capacity now to centralize it to the vault, but we don't have all the compatible cameras. The new cameras on this building are, unfortunately, the rest aren't. But the intent is to centralize
Yep.
10 years down the road when we have to replace the cameras.
Okay,
That's it. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
all right, and Councillor Lachance.
Yeah, I think that it's something that's good for us to put into place, just, again, another layer of
Protection.
covering our assets, and, again, comments that were made by council, I agree with. It's hard to really put into place against the live stream, because it really, we don't have the resources to have somebody just watching a camera all day, so, I think it should be more of a, except for in cases where they got the dump what they're using for monitoring, or it should be more of a reactive system. It should be something that we're being proactive with. It should be strictly reactive, kind of like bylaw, for example, based on a complaint or an incident, and we'd be reviewing this.
All right. Thank you for that work, Denis. It looks like it was fairly elaborate, and I think we got most of the points with the little additions that were discussed. I think it'll be a very good policy. All right, thank you. Next, item 4, consent agenda. Any items that need to be withdrawn? No? All right. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Councillor Potier, Councillor Framboise?
Moved by Counselor Pelletier and seconded by Counselor Laframboise, be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles approves the items of the consent agenda under sections 4.1, 4.4, and 4.8. And be it further resolved, the Council receives the items of the consent agenda under sections 4.2, 4.3, 4.5, and 4.7.
There's no 4.6?
No.
Okay. All those in favor? Carried. Okay. Now we go to the addendum. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the addendum? Councillor Loftus, Councillor Lachance?
Moved by Counselor Loftus and seconded by Counselor Lachance, be it resolved, the Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby approves the addendum to the June 17, 2026 regular meeting of council.
All those in favor? Carried. Item 7.2.1. 1, report to council, final approval of collective agreement. Denis?
Yes, your worship. Just have to change the file here. So from negotiations, from last meeting, council's meeting, the union prepared a comprehensive collective agreement to for 26-29, the next 4 years. It includes all points of discussion. So staff have looked through it. And we feel confident that it represents what was discussed, unless there's something that has been missed. Staff of the union membership has reviewed it and voted in favor of this. So tonight it is to be adopted. If everyone's in agreement, it's going to be adopted by bylaw, and will be a new working document for the next 4 years.
Okay. Any last comments? No? All right, so we're gonna be approving it later on by law. So next, item 7.2.1.2, report to council, a newly announced grant prepared by Denis.
Yes, your worship, and I do apologize. Usually you get a bit more notice, the province. So as I said in the past, sometimes they announce grants and they give you a short window of opportunity. So this was announced, I had it last Monday, so I think it was announced the Friday previous, Monday morning. Get the notice that the FedNor announced this grant. They want to fast track shovel-ready projects. So all the applications submitted by July 9th will receive priority. So they'll go through them first, and then we'll proceed, if there's money left, to anything received after July 9th. So I'm just saying this, in the event council is not comfortable moving tonight, you can say, hey, we'll want to take our time, but just reminding council that any delay does reduce the odds. We'll just go with the odds. I know we're all waiting for the surveys out there. We are receiving information. Unfortunately, there's probably not enough to compile yet to give an idea to council. And to move forward with this, we have to know where our council is comfortable with. And again, I put this as I threw everything, including the kitchen sink, in the change. And council might say, no, we're only comfortable with the back room as the gym and the elevator, and that's our project. And that would be fine. And so, but to have a point of discussion, so I threw everything on the kitchen sink, and I did talk to FedNor first off. So FedNor is saying there is very high demand, even though they say from $115,000 to $1 million, that's what they're looking at. Realistically, our limit is $200,000. If we send $400,000, the way they split the funds and allocate, we would unfortunately probably not be successful. So the recommendation, which I only got confirmation on Friday, is that they cap, their recommendation for the application for the FedNAR one is 200,000. With that, I went to NHFC. I've been in discussion with them for a little bit. We have to finish the firewall grant. The final reporting is being worked on, so it should be completed by this week, the reporting. And we have to finish that one before applying to NOHFC, because there's a component that would fit into the NOHFC funding agreement. The only real condition for NOHFC is we have to create net new employment, and one full-time equivalent is probably where they start. So if we only create one job, we qualify. FedNor is 100%. You want 200,000, here's 200,000. They don't require matching funds. It improves your odds of getting it. NOHFC, by policy, they are maxed out at 90%. So you can say, yeah, we approve you $1 million project, but you have to put 10% in. If they want skin in the game, it is not, it is part of their policy, which I think is fair. It's like, if you want something, you have to invest a bit so you respect what you create. So with the proposal, NHFC, and again, this is everything, I tossed everything in because I have to see where council fits. They would be potentially comfortable at 500,000, maybe 600,000. So with the 200,000, with the 500,000, we could potentially go for an $800,000 project, maybe a bit more, but I think it depends where council wants to go with this. And if we are serious about converting the arena, this is a nice opportunity to get 90% funded. So they're not common 90% funded. Province is really like any other grant. The sports grant that's coming up again is a 50-50%. So you apply for the $800,000 project, you'll have to put $400,000 in. So 90% is a fair. So the discussion with council is, do you give direction to staff, because it is fairly extensive, because we do need to get an official quote for an elevator. I got an estimate from our current elevator operator. Doesn't work when you're applying for an $800,000 grant. I need to get the likes of Severia to come in and give me an official quote. I need a contractor to come in to do all the renovations at the arena, for, like, if you're creating a library, if you're creating a gym, I need a proper quote from a reasonable contractor. I know council did approve 15,000 for an engineer. We director of operation. Through the contacts we made at the daycare, we got some names of decent engineers that would give us a fair opinion of the arena at a fair cost. That is upcoming in the next few weeks. And I've already talked to and had a site visit from a door company for renovation of the doors. So I already have the door configuration. I don't know how far we want to go. Far as council is not. And because it's multi-sport, and this is the purpose of the grant, I would also include the balance of the flooring in the arena. Right now, during the off-season, high school's off, we're going to be installing a composite tile floor. And probably within this week, we will have a basketball court inside the arena floor, and ready for participants. So it is being assembled as we speak. Well, not now, but during the day. The goal was to have it up in the next few days, and then we're going to start promoting basketball. Yes, it's middle of summer, we should be playing outside, but what it will give us is next March, high school's off, we play basketball, we play floor hockey, we play pickleball, we play pickleball, because it's all on a non-slippery surface, and it's not concrete, so we don't have to wear a helmet, so it's concussion proof. Not concussion, so you could still get hurt, but you're not required to wear a helmet to play pickleball. So there's a standard 4-foot fall, which is the normal acceptable height, so you're not required to have a helmet. I would go with the entire floor. And then you could play floor hockey, full-size court. So that is a proposal for council. First off, I want to know where is the limitation of council. If we're all in, then we have basically 3 weeks before July 9th to make the first pile. The odds with NOHFC increase dramatically when we have partners. We can go independently NHFC alone, and this was discussing as we were wrapping up the fire department. I was discussing this with them to go alone with NOHFC. By combining it, it does improve the odds of us getting the funding. So again, the project is a big one, and that's why in the shell it's here tonight and not in July. Because this is a big discussion, and I know council was waiting for data from the survey,
Yeah.
but they're slowly coming in, but not enough to give us a direction at this point.
Okay. Thank you very much. I just think, like, I know that the arena is an important part of our municipality, and I think we're at a crossroads where the decisions we make will either help it grow or maybe help it become obsolete, because if we stay the road as it is, it's very difficult to obtain grants when you say we have one dance a year upstairs and we have I don't know how many hockey teams, 2 or 3 in the winter. If we say that, the grant capability is severely limited. So that means that everything will be on our shoulders for any renovations that need to be done. If we state that we are in agreement with looking at this, making the grant possible, well, that might make the difference about the future of the arena. Anyhow, any comments or questions?
I like the idea. I'm just curious, you're talking about, you're asking for quotes, like, do they need a site plan or blueprint? Like, how depth is?
It, as more complicated,
I'm just afraid, like if we, like, you're talking about the library, fitness center and stuff, like, I don't know, we just wanna make sure, right?
we have a concept plan that it's been worked on. The engineering is the one that's key. If I don't have the engineering to support it, I will tell council we don't apply by July 9th because it's not worth our while to do an application. The intent is to have the engineering to see if the building can structurally support it. We have a draft drawing that could be used in terms of securing quotes. That said, I've had a contractor look at it, works in the trade, and he gave me an estimate, but that has not gone through an architect. This I would definitely believe, because it is a public building, that the chief building official will hold us to having a proper firm approving it.
Wanna make sure, yeah.
But if we get the structural to say it can support it, it is we would have to consult potentially an architect for this. And I don't think the 15,000 will be sufficient. I do hope it could be, but I doubt.
Sufficient for?
To get a report for the structural of the integrity of either the back room or this, to be able to sustain the weight of fitness equipment and library equipment. The intent would be to show the diagram, because how do you quote a contract if we do not know the airflow, the exit, emergency exit? Because unfortunately, there's a lot in design, building design, that requires expertise. If I get an estimate on that, that would be done part of the renovations, because obviously, unless council is willing to, like, we're paying the engineer, and again, this 15,000 would not be eligible for this grant, because whatever is done prior to approval.
Yeah.
Similar, I would have put a sufficient amount in the proposal to cover a full architect or designer to design the building, talk about the airflow systems, the sound dampening systems. And again, the washrooms, the dressing rooms, I even had some concerns brought up about having proper facilities for respecting all orientations. So, like private dressing rooms. Even though I don't think it's required yet under law, it is best practice to facilitate that for everyone. That being said, it is a concern. It is, do we skip the July 9th and then maybe put all our eggs in the basket with NOHFC? NOHFC said it does give us a much better chance with a partnered application. And again, I got not even a month, 3 weeks to get this together. I can get the quotes. Whether I can get the reports is a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think it's a big project and we've got to make sure that everything's in line.
And we can go all through this and also say we can't do it. But if you do all this effort, we really want to make sure. And again, why do they announce a grant on June 8th and say by July 9th? This is the first pile, and we have this amount of money, and I've already been told the demand is high. That's why I was told, don't ask for more than 200,000, you're not getting it. So I do suspect this first pile will eat up the majority of the funding announced.
Mhm. So if we have a chance, we have to do all that is possible to make it in that first pile.
And the work would not be lost, because then we can just turn around and maybe apply in a couple of rounds to NHFC to do part A, part B, part C, as long as there's an intent. And again, that's why there's a resolution here, as without council's intent of having a multi-sport center, it is pretty much, that's what triggers check, check, check. This is what we want to fund, rather than, like I say, a single-use event.
Okay. Councillor Loftus, any questions?
Can you get the quotes within the next couple of weeks that we need?
I am sure I can get, the elevator is the only one. I know I've already talked to them, and it just, if I can get somebody out there, that seems simple, person coming in and doing a design. It's summer. I can try. And that is contacting, I would say, Severia, or first of all, I'm gonna contact the elevator company that we use for maintenance, and go with his advice. I know there's a few companies out there, and that is one quote. The other one is to get a contractor to come in to quote as a design, everything. We've already reached out, or the director of operation was reaching out to that engineer that we got approved in the budget. And if we do this, then we would, with the intent of what council decides to move forward with, would be the design. So if the council supports a fitness center, library in the hall, and renovations of the rear room, then we would concentrate on those three factors. But that was intended 15,000.
If the engineer is not you're saying that that's the one that might take a bit more time, might have it. Can we proceed, but if you can get the quotes, would it be feasible to proceed as if we got a positive from the engineer? And if we get a positive from the engineer, we move ahead, but if we get a negative, we pull back? Or is that pulling back a very bad action?
No, so all funding agencies, if you have an engineering report that you can't sustain it, it would be better to say it before.
Okay,
But council, like, no one will force you to take money. No one. You say you can't do it, next time you go around, you may have to work a bit harder to say we're ready. Because,
yeah,
you know, it's like, you said you were ready last time, are you ready this time? So you may have to line up your ducks way in advance. And I do get the issue of 3 weeks is almost asking the impossible, and it may well be, but it's something that if we're planning for it, it won't be wasted. If we get a quote for an elevator, then we'll know what type of elevator, what type of work is required. So if it only is completed in 2 years from now, we can just update the quote for 2 years from now. The construction, if we can get a layout, maybe we can piecemeal that one and apply NOHFC elevator and room upstairs for 400,000 and keep it to a small project with NOHFC. And then move afterwards for, and again, I did say cafe, restaurant, if we're having more and more people in the building, it may be more of a full-time canteen than a hockey time canteen, so I was saying potentially having a coffee on tap, because unfortunately we are very limited to go sit down for having the coffee. So anyways, yes, I understand, and it is a risk.
all right. Any other questions, Councillor Potier?
So there's a lot to unpack in this proposal. So I know originally there was a lot of discussions around the gym and the library and stuff, but now we're talking about maybe even the wellness center, or was wellness center just lumped in there regarding the gym?
Yes.
Because wellness center is in there quite a few times.
Yes, because here it's the wellness center because there's a gym, and then I was in the report I was putting wellness center, but we have to figure out a different name than wellness center, because then everyone mixes here. When I talk, sometimes a wellness center was about freeing up the room and creating a potential for additional rent where the gym was, and at the community center, the sports center, where I was using wellness, but it should have been more of a sports and recreation, healthy living, cultural, and then used wellness center, which.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're not trying to plan to bring the clinic
No,
over there.
no.
And
the freed up room, and then this is where we can really call this a health clinic or a health center rather than a wellness center. Is that if we can get a professional chiropractor, doctor, or anything in that field, dentist, we would have a facility, because you don't want to sell it to, rent it to, I don't know, a rug salesman. I'm sorry, you want to keep it.
So I know there was a thought of also possibility of, if the library is moved from there, to moving the library here, just because it was also more centrally located in the community. As opposed to the gym, people are mostly all driving there anyways, so. And then, as for the recommended resolution, I'm assuming we're not passing this tonight, we're waiting on some, we want more information and engineering feedback, I'm assuming, before we pass this, right? Because we have time at the committee of the whole.
So there's.
Oh, there is none in July, yeah.
Yeah,
So it would have to be a special meeting, and it could be a fair question, because the two questions that I were asked, I can't answer. What's the engineering? No, I can't answer. What is the design? I can't really answer. I need to do research. Unfortunately, there's no meeting from here till July 9th. If council wants to, say, be willing to meet to discuss this on July 8th before if I have all the information and then pass that resolution, that could also be, and I don't know what July 8 is already, I just said it out loud, I should check. Yeah, it's technically available till Wednesday, the second Wednesday of July.
And then this is, well, I mean, technically the resolution is just authorizing you to proceed with the application.
Exactly.
So
It
if you don't have
shows
the
intent.
information, yeah, if you don't have the information by that date, we can't,
Yeah.
we're not gonna proceed until, yeah, so I don't think there's an issue with passing this resolution, other than, I'd like to amend the resolution, the before last paragraph, regarding, future decisions regarding continuation, modification, or discontinuation of seasonal ice operations. I'd like a change to council acknowledges that future decisions regarding the modification or discontinuation of seasonal ice operations shall only be triggered if off-season facility utilization exceeds current capacity, and shall be subject to further review, public consultation, financial analysis, and a subsequent resolution of council. Sorry, that was very quick. I can just,
Yeah.
I can just message it to you. Yeah, just, I think it, like, as Mayor Blackney states, we need to, you know, we're looking at this to ensure the continuation of the arena, but, I'll fight tooth and nail till I die that there's no sense going after a somewhat utilized part of the season if there is an unutilized season. So that, to me, should never be a question. I'll just message the clerk about that. Sorry, I'd written it all out nice here. It was very.
That's wonderful. Thank
If I just message it to you, is that easier? Or?
you. Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, that's it for me. I'm in favor of it, really. So it's.
Yeah, okay. Councillor Lachance.
I think this is something that we discuss on and on again, and we always say that, well, it'd be nice to have funding for it, it'd be nice to have funding for it. And this is, in my opinion, a golden opportunity for having something 90% funded, to speak to what Mayor Buckingham mentioned about saying, oh, well, we use it for 3 hockey teams and we use it. Well, I like to say that we also use it for our food bank, we also use it for a place of worship, we also use it for many things. I don't think the selling point is very hard to try to keep activity available for youth in any kind of exercise or sport. I don't think that the culture behind it is something that's hard to sell, and the inclusivity and the gathering with events like a family tournament or even when people get together for an event. That's what I said, like, for example, by the Lions Club, who have run events out there. I think it's almost a staple to our community, and I don't think that would be hard to sell in form of a grant. As far as what projects we would be looking for, I think that the elevator and the hallway up top are 2 of our biggest barriers with that building. I believe to be ADOA compliant at the width of that hallway up top.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at that door, the way
In the back.
it's for the exit. So for me, I think that those, also seeing that the engineering report for the structural steel underneath that back section support, I see what it's rated for supporting before we decide what goes on in there. I think that no matter what, going after a grant for the elevator and removing that staircase and just making it mezzanine accessible from the one side, and then using the back fire escape, opening that hallway to a back exit door that's only push exit only, not open or exit, and then adding a wall there to close off, so that's a common area and not a space. I think it would be crazy not to try to pursue this.
Yeah. So therefore, do you have the amendment?
I do.
Okay.
Councillor Pache was very nice to send it to
He
me. I'll
sent it
take
to
it.
you. Can you, do we want to move ahead with, somebody wants to move that amendment?
Just
So
one
he moved
question.
Yes?
Do we need to make a decision for the purpose of your grant to what facilities will be looking to relocate there.
Well,
It's better.
in the resolution, it does state a second paragraph.
And this is where, again, we're looking to tell them that we wanna have more access to our building to make it compliant, and this is the best way to do it. And I think the next step for the grant being approved would be deciding our plan for what we want to do up there if the funds are available. Because asking, say, this is what we want, this is what we might do. This is our, if we get the funds to do this, we will be, this is what we need it for, to make it, so increasing use of the facility. So gym or library, we already know those are two main options of relocating there. Do you think that it would be helpful if we made up our decision on that?
So,
For your application?
as part of the
In the
resolution,
elevator.
on page 36 or 73, it says, be preferred resolved that council supports the inclusion of the municipal library, fitness, and this is where the wellness scans are coming in. We will remove and wellness, the fitness center, community programming spaces, this is part of the library, or part of what we're trying to build up with community programming with the current Trillium funding is going on with the soccer and training. And other community uses, and here they're saying more specifically add the food bank, anything that's currently going on there as part of the project design. And then this
Where
is where
feasible.
feasible, because
Yeah.
unfortunately it may end up that we can't have the weight of the equipment up there. I can't see why not, but again, the engineer,
Because if we have the elevator, it opens our availability to offer the food bank out in that area at the back also. It opens up so many avenues for us. And I think that's the key thing, is that hallway and that elevator is what's holding us back, and that back door, which isn't as big of a deal, but those are what are choking us
Yeah.
right now. No matter what, if it's 3 years down the road, we decide to move a library or a fitness center there, at least we'll have the means to do so.
yeah, but this mean, well, it could, this project
Yeah.
is basically,
To do the work.
we're selling as a package. If you want to do piecemeal, and then I have to be very specific, we're not including the library until.
I'm saying if we choose to include one of the two, because I think it'd be a hard commitment to choose both the library and the gym right now to move there.
So, okay.
It's where
so-
feasible, right? It says where feasible.
Yeah, but the issue is, I'm also talking about the big hall, because the back room right now, the issue is, it's only one of them, we need windows, moving the library there, only the library, it will be maybe detrimental to the library, because unfortunately, there's no other activity. The intent is also to use the big hall. And because the big hall is one of the most underutilized space that we have. So the purpose of this is to see how far we want to move this, because if we're renovating the back hall, which I know everyone was in favor of that one. But if I do that, and then I have to I can't include anywhere in this the fitness center. Because the what ifs, they don't care. They want to say, what are you doing? I give you $1, you're going to do what with that $1? We're going to fix the back room and put an elevator. And then I can do that. That selling point now, it's harder because it won't sustain a restaurant. It may sustain a bit of sporting activity with the flooring, because the flooring would always stay there. If you move the gym, well, only one of the two. So if you want to exclude one of them, there is still the big hall, because if the big hall remains empty and it's used during a tournament, potentially two, potentially three, depending on how many tournaments you can get in a year, do you want to keep the big hall as an entity? And this is where I think the Mayor Branfani was alluding to, is we have to use this building, otherwise it becomes very difficult to attract people. Like, if you have oodles of activity, you will have a daycare across the street, you will have a library there, if you have a gym there, and if you put a canteen, for lack of a better word, a little cafe, you will have traffic. If you do the library, I don't know, especially in the back room, it is, we need neighbors in that building. It is very lonely. I know staff don't like working in that building when it's off season because it is very cavernous, for lack of a better word. So, and again, I want to see where council is willing to go, and that was, I was tossing everything in, as I'm not holding back. I want the library and the gym there. Well, I'm suggesting, if council doesn't want it, well, you got to tell me, I'll still apply, but if it's just fixing of the back room and the elevator, then I will apply for that. The odds are still fair, but it may not be a good move for the library. Or the gym, depending what we decide to move there.
Council chambers at the back. Make it some more office space in here.
There's, again, if we're renovating, you can have community center, you can have community meeting rooms,
The council chambers is a community meeting.
yeah. It could be a multi-purpose room, it could be the new food bank. There's an elevator, so they don't have to cart up and down the boxes of flowers.
The library could almost be a better fit in the back than the gym, just because you could then also use the front portion without significant renovations for doing events.
True.
Like, realistically speaking, and then, I mean, unfortunately the gym doesn't relocate to a full day use area, but the library.
Yes, it could.
Eh?
It could, you just need to make your access off the one door
You mean if the gym goes to the back then?
No,
at the front.
Oh, yeah, that's, I mean, but then the library can't use it for, cause the back, I mean, as much as, yeah. I
Because
don't know.
the big hall
Yeah.
is fairly large. It is very underutilized. And the gym could, and the library could easily fit in that one space.
but it's more costly, what do you
You're
say?
not gonna put a gym beside a library.
There's gonna be a
Well, you have someone running a treadmill, you can't have that beside a library.
but there's
That's fair.
soundproofing and whatnot, but anyhow.
And we can also, the back room, and I was thinking about this, is if it's a library, we would have to now include windows for the back room, and you wanna know, that might be the best thing that happens to that room.
That's
If
the
you
easiest
put,
thing.
the south-facing windows, facing a beautiful lake.
Yeah, windows there wouldn't be that bad to do either, there's no,
It's not a
No, they,
yeah.
but windows at both ends would be
It's
nice.
a big space back there, and that's what I think people don't realize, it's the
There
same
was-
size as the hall pretty much back there. like,
We had a
right-
gym there before, didn't we?
The other
Yeah.
half of the walls. It used to be a place.
But we
that
can't put
everybody-
both, so one has to go in front. But if you support me, if you support this in principle, pass this, we can worry about the details as long as there's an agreement if we do get the funding. But I like your idea of if it becomes money an issue, if it becomes the front has to 600,000 to renovate, well then maybe our issue is one in the back, one in the front, and then in the future we can start, because the gym won't require, or the library won't require the full space, maybe in the future we can put a separate playroom, for lack of a better word, or a meeting room, or council chambers.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, cause trying to think of a way to, keep some kind of event space, in the front upstairs, cause obviously if you start getting rid of that entirely, yeah, you're
And-
losing that event space
Yeah,
that is at a much cheaper,
Viewing area,
yeah.
keep
You're-
the viewing area open for the eye surface.
like you're losing also an event space that once there's an elevator, and like the only thing limiting that upstairs space from being utilized right now is because of the elevator and the access restrictions that we've imposed. Like,
But the only way to get the elevator is to have more activities than we have.
you'll have more activities
No.
just for the same reason that you'll have, like, that's what I mean, you'll have more activities, 100%.
Okay.
So
But-
there's a potential there.
Yeah.
For working, keeping an event space and having a fitness center in that room. Event space will be smaller,
Yeah.
notably, but it could still be, a fair bit of sitting room and
So you
for,
got-
say, a minor team to have a little cake after,
But an event space could also be part of the lobby, because you can get the sort of,
So you look
the
upstairs.
permits, the bar permits for.
The way your mezzanine goes there, your mezz usually just goes straight back right now, and there's an entrance there to that big door, and this is cut, there's no hallway that goes to the other half.
Put a hallway.
Between
So you
here.
put a hallway that goes straight across here, bang, you got 2 rooms, you got a staircase at the back, you got a staircase at the front.
You utilize that
And
entire
you
space.
use-
Isn't there the
elevator from
Zamboni room in the middle?
That's why he's saying you have
Yeah,
the,
You put the staircase, the.
Outside?
your hallway, no, the front, the wall there, the wall, there's a wall
Against
there,
the wall.
windows.
And the
Yeah.
mezzanine.
It's already, the wall's already there, just add an inside wall to divide it, you have 2 doors, and you're done. Then
And
you
that's
got
more-
You got,
You'd make a
you got.
railing
2
outside.
fully-
One.
almost another
inside,
mezzanine.
You can do it inside, out,
But
doesn't matter.
I think, doesn't the Zamboni room go right up?
No?
I don't think so.
in the back, yes.
The garage, yeah, the room does, but the door doesn't though.
Divides the 2?
Yeah,
I don't know if there's enough to put a catwalk there.
the room in the Zamboni room is all the way up, but outside of the Zamboni room, the garage door or the opening is only,
That height,
yeah,
yeah, so you could still
Yeah.
have your walkway there.
it's no higher than the mezzanine, I'd say.
So the only thing that would mean moving the scoreboard,
Yeah,
you already have
Oh,
windows
yeah.
there, and you gotta knock
Put
a
it
wall,
in
2
front.
doors in, but I'm just thinking of ways to.
There's all sorts of ways.
Yeah.
That way your back room, which is just storage right now, would also be AODA compliant with access via elevator. Just saying, it opens up a bunch more possibilities.
That's the 2
So-
rooms in it.
In general, if there's agreement, we pass a resolution and debate it, and then if we find out we don't wanna go, we can, because we won't get approval until, I suspect we won't get approval till September, maybe we can view it in,
You want
in
to
August.
talk to Andrew, I mean, he's, make it go there too.
That's a official plan.
Yeah, so perfect.
And want my stand?
to scale.
No, I just, the more room we can access.
Yeah,
we can open
I
it better.
agree,
And
because
you-
that other section is also dead.
And that's big space,
It is a big space, you're right.
and we're not utilizing it.
Make
So-
use of unutilized space, not the.
Are we ready therefore to move ahead with a resolution?
I think
Realizing that we have other issues, like we have to decide the placement and all this other stuff?
I think so, we have to go with the elevator, go with the widening of the hallway, and look at the structural report.
We need a structure
Yeah.
report for anything. That's
We have,
what I wanted.
Yeah,
no matter what, even if we don't get the structural report for the back and not with the elevator, there would be still a huge thing to get
yeah.
for future or for moving one facility to the front half at least.
And right now, do we not have a survey with the library going around, that survey monkey going around?
Yeah,
So
we can always back it out,
are we gonna
but
say
if we,
you're
if
going
we
to
say,
the arena just without the survey coming back with the results, or?
it's just, it's the future of the arena. If we leave it as is, like, the other grants have been applied and using, I don't wanna say creative writing, you try to enhance the things that we do, but you can't, when you do the grant, you can't be lying, so,
Well, I know that the survey's been out for a while, so I'm just wondering, could we check the survey results or just get some kind of idea of people's inputs or how many surveys have been sent back?
you
That's
wanna
all.
wait for the survey
Well,
before
no,
the
I'm just,
resolution?
like, no, I wanna move ahead with the engineer's report, I wanna get it going.
Okay, but the grant needs a resolution.
Yeah, so,
I think for the library, as long as we can keep maintaining a library.
yes, I know,
No matter
that,
where it is.
I agree. Like, eventually, like, if it doesn't go there, if it doesn't go in that site, it's gonna, but I mean, if there's more activity in the arena where there's gonna be more, the door's gonna be open more and you're gonna have more kids in there and then they can go to the library, that's where we're gonna
That's,
have
That's the nice thing.
traffic.
like when they go to
Yeah.
a hockey game, the younger sister or whatever
Or
brother
if
can.
somebody's
Yeah.
playing pickleball or something, if the
Or the
arena-
parents bring their kids, they wanna go to the gym.
Yeah, if it's open, so.
So we're already removing wellness and wellness from the paragraph before.
Yeah.
Do we just make it so that maybe we're not held as much to that statement, municipal library and or fitness center?
I think if we have the grant funding,
Yes, I mean, no, I'm just thinking, does that add allowance for us to?
but does it weaken the position?
I think where feasible is your allowance.
Okay, that's what I mean, right? As long as that's,
Be definitive, we're moving there if
Yeah.
we can.
yeah,
But the resolution, we're moving there, but the where feasible is your, because obviously if the engineer comes back and says, no, you can't put 20 tons of weight on that floor. And then it might just, okay, poof, that balloon is burst.
You might have more weight in the books than you do in the gym equipment, I'm just saying that too.
digital
It's
books.
not like, well, it's true.
Yeah.
The floor has to be rated either way.
All right, so are we ready for this? So the
I need a
amendment,
seconder for.
Oh,
the
yeah.
seconder, you moved
I
it?
moved it,
Might
yeah.
need that one back.
Who wants to second the amendment? Councilor Framboise?
Yeah, I'm just
Moved
thinking
by-
on the other side, I had stuff.
Okay,
started.
shh, okay, on écoute?
Moved by Councillor Pate and seconded by Councillor Laframboise, be it resolved that the resolution be amended in that the second last paragraph read as follows. Quote, and be it further resolved that council acknowledges that future decisions regarding the modification or discontinuation of seasonal ice operations shall only be triggered if off-season facility utilization exceeds current capacity and shall be subject to further review, public consultation, financial analysis, and a subsequent resolution of council.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. Now, do I have a mover and a seconder for the primary resolution? Councilor Loftus, Councilor Lachance?
Okay, so.
With the,
with
do we
the-
have to,
Yeah,
With the changes.
And I'll be removing and wellness out of the other paragraph as a typographical error. So, whereas the municipality of St. Charles recognizes the importance of providing accessible, affordable, and sustainable recreational, wellness, cultural, and community services for residents of all ages. And whereas the St. Charles Arena currently operates primarily as a seasonal facility and remains underutilized for a significant portion of the year. And whereas council wishes to explore opportunities to maximize the utilization of existing municipal infrastructure and improve the long-term sustainability of municipal facilities. And whereas administration has presented a concept to redevelop the St. Charles Arena into a year-round multi-use community recreation and wellness center, including the continued operation of seasonal ice during the winter months and the use of a multi-purpose sports surface during the off-season. And whereas the proposed project includes consideration of relocating the municipal library and fitness center, creating a community cafe and gathering space, and expanding recreational and community programming opportunities. And whereas the proposed project is anticipated to create employment opportunities, support residential growth within the municipality, enhance quality of life, improve access to recreation and wellness services, and contribute to the economic development of the municipality of St. Charles. And whereas the proposed project is strategically located adjacent to the municipal daycare facility and future residential development lands, creating opportunities to establish a community hub serving residents and visitors year-round. And whereas council recognizes that external funding assistance will be required to advance the project and wishes to pursue available provincial and federal funding opportunities, including funding through the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, (NOHFC), and Build Community Strong Fund Local Impact Stream. Be it therefore resolved that council endorses in principle the development of the St. Charles Multi-Use Community Recreation and Wellness Center project. And be it further resolved that council direct administration to further investigate the project, including facility design concepts, operational requirements, financial implications, public consultation, and funding opportunities. And be it further resolved, the council authorizes administration to prepare and submit funding applications to the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, (NOHFC), and Build Communities Strong Fund Local Impact Stream for the purpose of advancing the project. And be it further resolved, the council supports the inclusion of the municipal library, fitness center, community programming spaces, and other complementary community uses as part of the project design where feasible. And be it further resolved, the council acknowledges that future decisions regarding the modification or discontinuation of seasonal ice operations shall only be triggered if off-season facility utilization exceeds current capacity, and shall be subject to further review, public consultation, financial analysis, and a subsequent resolution of council. And be it further resolved that this resolution shall serve as the municipality's formal expression of support for the project and may be included in funding applications and supporting documentation.
All those in favor? Carried. Okay, thank you very much. I think this is gonna be something that might make a difference for the long duration of the arena. Next item, 7.31. This is the bylaw for the collective agreement. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the first and second reading? Councillor Loftus, Councillor Potier?
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Potier. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives first and second reading to the following bylaw. Bylaw 2026-33, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a collective agreement between the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles and the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 493.
All those in favor? Carried. Can I have a mover and a seconder for the third and final reading? Councillor Laframboise, Councillor Lachance?
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-33.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, resolution to adjourn the addendum. Councillor Loftus, Councillor Lachance?
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby adjourns the addendum and returns to the June 17, 2026 regular meeting of Council.
All those in favor? Carried. Next, we have a confirmation bylaw, first and second reading. Councillor Loftus, Councillor Laframboise?
Moved by Councillor Loftus and seconded by Councillor Laframboise. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives first and second reading to the following bylaw. Bylaw 2026-32, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of Council at its Committee of the Whole meeting held June 3rd, 2026, and at its regular meeting of Council held June 17th, 2026.
All those in favor? Carried. Mover and seconder for third and final reading. Councillor Potier, Councillor Lachance?
Moved by Councillor Potier and seconded by Councillor Lachance. Be it resolved that Council for the Corporation of the Municipality of St. Charles hereby gives third reading to and finally passes bylaw 2026-32.
All those in favor? Carried. Mover and a seconder to adjourn. Councillor Laframboise, Councillor Potier?
Moved by Councillor Laframboise and seconded by Councillor Potier. Be it resolved that the regular meeting of Council of June 17, 2026 be adjourned at 8:34 p.m.
All those in favor? Carried. Meeting is adjourned.